Growing up playing football, you always hear the phrase, never overlook an opponent. The Stanford Cardinal, as they look to kick off the second half of their season, need to take that to heart as they host the Arizona State Sun Devils, currently 3-3. And as it stands, they have the Heisman favorite in Nathan Henderson. This would be the third edge rusher under Coach Barrington to win this award. And he currently helps lead the nation's #1 defense by more than 100 yards, less than the second best team. They also by far have given up the least amount of points, 51 compared to 83 in Florida Atlantic's #2 team. Sack-wise, they do lead the nation there by 3, a close race behind, though, between Army, Appalachian State, Washington State, and Colorado State. But the Sun Devils have themselves a pretty good defender as well in Jason Priest, the senior off-ball linebacker. He currently leads the Sun Devils in tackles by 12. He's also tied for first in tackles for a loss with 4. He does have half a sack on the year and 2 interceptions, second best on the team. As for their offense, they are led by sophomore quarterback James Bermudez. And he's a quarterback who provides big highlights and also turnovers, 11 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. He's also running the ball a lot, 15 yards less than their top runner in Jamie Keel, though the average is better for Bermudez. 3 touchdowns, most rushing touchdowns on the team, but he also leads them in fumbles. But he does have a good cast of receivers around him. Eli Bingham, the senior, leads them in yards per game with 74, 5 touchdowns as well. But their highest rated player has been a little bit slow out the gate in Chet Ostrowski. But another man to watch in the receiving game is their starting running back in Jamie Keel, though that is of no surprise to the Stanford Cardinal, who see that on almost a weekly basis. And as we return to the farm, we also are bringing with us 2 key recruits, Devin Nall, the big ol' run stopper DT at 6'3", 337. Additionally, we are also looking to land Tim Cookus, though he's a little bit more hesitant. He's keeping his recruiting open because his biggest concern right now is traveling across the nation. The reason that we have not had a hard sell is because we are very far from home. We have an F rating there. We're trying to wow him this week so we could bring in that 97 speed with 80-man coverage as a freshman. So as we head on out at the farm facing the Sun Devils, we want to make sure we impress and get Palo Alto rocking. This Pac-12 battle is underway as Arizona State is set back to return, and their first drive is starting deep at the 12. Ostrowski and the Sun Devil offense come on out with 88 yards to go. And there's a whole lot to worry about from this defense for such a young quarterback as it is Joseph Henry picking up the sack, and I believe that is a sack on play 1 in back-to-back weeks for the young fella. He broke out onto the scene during some late game action last year, and he's just ran with it. Throw across the middle here will be caught, picking up most of the lost yardage. But Bermuda is still going to be faced with a 3rd and long, 11 needed. As they look to set up a screen, it's under pressure, and it's the Heisman candidate in Nathan Henderson breaking it up. With that early stop from the defense, it gets the ball to the offense starting about midfield. Wesovich has been dominant these last couple weeks, and that's where they start right down the middle. He hops over a down defender on his way for 14. And he does kind of remind me a little bit of a former Arizona State running back, perhaps maybe a little bit taller. You know the one I'm talking about, Scattaboo, and he just got rocked. Picking up another first down. He took a shot at the end of that one. Jewell will come on out here for 1st and 10, just inside the 30. Go to the left-hand side. That's going to be Ben Vallejo with a touchdown last week, a shimmy and dragging 2 defenders to the 10. Well, the pedals to the metal so far here for the Cardinal. Vallejo in motion, as it will be a keeper, Redwell Gomez. There's a reason he leads Arizona State in both tackles for a loss and sacks. As Sorensen looks to escape to the outside, letting this play develop, he throws and it's picked off, intended for Lockett. Looked like he was trying to tell him to go back to the end zone, but he didn't get the height on it. Vic, the freshman corner for the Sun Devils, reads him like a book, picks it off, and gets the ball back over to Arizona State. And that's only the second interception on the year for our man in Justin Sorensen. They look to hand this ball off to Keel, nowhere to go. Nathan Henderson involved on that stop. It's 2nd and 10, still back at the 3. Motion into the backfield is their big body tight end. And Blair smacks him down, no gain. So 3rd down then will be split backfield. See what Arizona State can do here to avoid a safety. As they do just straight up hand it off, Henderson with a quick stop, no yards gained. In fact, it looks like they lose about half a yard on that play and are going to have to punt standing in their own end zone. Cardinal do not get much of a rush, but that punt is out for Legend and Ogbar. We'll take it. Slip one and we'll be about the 42, where the offense will get rocking and rolling yet again here. Interception on the last drive ended it for the Cardinal after steamrolling the first few plays of that drive. Play action here and throwing. This time it's actually to Lockett, who breaks it to the outside. A little juke move there, a quick jump cut. And he was held almost catchless last week already. A big one there. 2 early targets. Bringing the blitz, and Sorensen will rip that one to the bench. Sun Devils with a nice unblocked linebacker. Forces 2nd and 10. It's Jewell in the backfield as he'll look to stretch it to the outside. Great contain by Sims. The Cardinal faced here with a 3rd and 10. Hard count. Pete Morton definitely stepped early, so that'll back up the Stanford Cardinal. We'll see what Coach Barrington then has in the play calling sheet for a 3rd and 15. They stick with the tight shotgun look. Off coverage here from Arizona State. And Sorensen, he's going to look to scramble, splitting the linebackers. He will not. They get him down with 3 yards to go, but the offense stays out there. 2 spread either side with a hard count, no one jumps. Again, hard count, no one jumps. Now they are going to snap that ball under pressure, and a turnover on down. It's Priest getting the sack, and the Cardinal have been stopped inside the 20 on back-to-back drives. This is what overlooking an opponent looks like. You risk things that you normally would not. 1st and 10. Arizona State is caught outside Ostrovsky. Kevin Salmon just about half a step behind on coverage there, and that has seemingly been the case majority of the year. Good play action and dropped. Just a great job in coverage there to jar that one free. Forces a 2nd and 10 as the Cardinal bring the blitz. It's a lofted throw, caught for 3. But that does force a 3rd and 7. Empty look here. And passes outside with space down the sideline. Quinn chopped down at the 1. Ty Holly. A touchdown saving tackle, but set up 1 yard away. With multiple downs to go here, it's to Keel. Diving in through the second effort, the Sun Devils find the first points here in Palo Alto, putting the #1 team in the nation on alert. And this really could be a good test here for this young core. How do they respond? They haven't really faced a team popping them in the mouth this early, as Wesovich will rumble for 2. Well, plenty of good work from the Cardinal. In most of their games, it's been a hot start followed by a smooth finish. This time, they're going to have to step up their game. Rolling to the outside and passes behind, but Vallejo picks it out of the air. He's really just been phenomenal at that this year and has saved a couple errant throws by his young quarterback. But as we reach the end of the first quarter, Arizona State is in charge here, 7-0. Now, of course, we still have 3 quarters for that to change, and the Cardinal do have the ball up at the 42 to start quarter number 2. As they will look to go back to the air, it's going to be towards Lockett. He didn't have many catches last week, so he's getting all the targets early on as they go hurry up plus side. Bunch going to stay to the right-hand side. Sorensen a couple calls there and quickly getting that ball snapped. Rolling to the outside here. Sorensen will get a break to the outside, first down, and dip out of bounds. We talked at the top about all the running that we should expect from the quarterback of the other team. But we didn't talk much about our guy, coming off a 2-touchdown day on the ground, but getting sacked here. There were about 4 different defenders sitting on Sorensen by the time that whistle sounds. 2nd and 17, back of the 31. They bring the blitz, the passes to the outside, Ben Vallejo with 10. Already out the gate, it seems like Arizona State, they're going to bring that pressure. Sorensen is going to have to adjust and make sure he continues a clean bill of performance as he's going to scramble right down the middle here. Looked for the juke. Great stop by the safety. Well, not to take anything away there on that scramble. This time giving it to the outside, and Bargava will go untouched. Great blocking on the jet sweep. Rafael Bargava gets the Cardinal on the board here, and we tie things up early doors in the second quarter, making this one 7-7. So step 1 of reclaiming control of this game is complete. Now we need the defense to go out there and get a quick stop. Quarterback read option is read well by Lovelace. The speed, though, of Bermuda is good enough to get 5 before being met by a pretty speedy linebacker. And more option offense here, though this time Keel will take it. There's not much space to go. Defense forces another 3rd down. Looks like they have a late change. Throws to the outside, and Lovelace another step or 2 behind. If anyone, you want to pick more on Dragan when it comes to that speed, because Lovelace, he's got plenty, as Alakai grabs the ankle of Bermuda, and he goes down. Just all-out pressure there from the DT rotational. 2nd and 18 as they go with the play-action pass. Lovelace is right on time. He picks off Bermuda. He's breaking it to the outside, and look at that speed. He's got to run close to about a 4.52. Wearing 5.2 puts us in front here in Palo Alto. The Cardinal back in charge against the Arizona State Sun Devils. It was also the pressure from Dragan who actually forced that ball out quickly. So the linebacker duo hits big here for the Stanford Cardinal. And now it's play action. Looking to get this one outside to Keel and out of bounds. He picks up 4 along the way and wants no smoke from Lovelace, who will actually stay on the sideline. Waddle checks in. Bit of a breather needed there for Lovelace. With a quick stop there in the run game. Sets up a 3rd and 2, and Lovelace right back out there. Smack dab in the middle of the field, but it's Nathan Henderson bringing him down. As Afa Okwo looks to be a little bit shaken up here for the Sun Devils. But he and the rest of the offense will make their way to the sideline as the Cardinal take over, starting at the midfield line. And it's Wesovich destroying that man. He breaks through refs, gets out of the way. There goes the big boy rumbling to the end zone. It might have been a worrying start here for some of the fans in Palo Alto, but the farm is rocking as the Stanford Cardinal claim a 21-7 lead in a blink of an eye. How about that run, Joe Wesovich, the only man to touch him. He not only trucks, but steps on his way to the house. That is what we love to see from our power back here for the Stanford Cardinal. But can Arizona State respond following what was momentum entirely on their side just a couple minutes ago? Passes outside, and by the diving Dragan, it'll be up to the 45. A good first start here. Hurry up for Arizona State. Leaves a tight end in the backfield. Not sure who just had that last play. They go quick outside to Ostrowski. Perhaps if they went to their tight end, would have been a bigger gain. Just 1 on that time. Keel returns to the backfield as they look to set up a screen. Drogon's there, but unable to get a hand on Keel. He'll pick up 6. And that'll leave the Sun Devils with a 3rd and 4 following the 2-minute break. Have easy down to convert here, or easier down, but it's Tyrone Heggie. Sent on the safety blitz, he drops Bermudez in the backfield and forces another punt. The Cardinal, normally an aggressive team, but they're sending a whole lot more blitzes today. Gets them the ball with 1:18 starting back at the 27. As it looks to be a pass here under pressure and sack. Ralph Goldstein with the pressure. Looked like Sorensen tried to get rid of it, but just double clutched it. Under pressure again, that ball is out, and it's gonna be picked off as Gordon Lockett couldn't find it in the air. 13 v 13 goes to Arizona State's Laredo. And after a really clean first half from Justin Sorensen, just 1 interception, 2 here today. Really hate seeing that for this young quarterback. He's going to make sure he stays focused. This is our defense stays focused there to not give up a single yard. In fact, they mark it a loss of 1. It's 2nd and 11. As they go to the air, no one stays on the outside man, and Quinn back down the sideline. Second time he's upended. Arizona State, they called their first timeout. They've got 2 more remaining and 27 seconds to play. Quick pressure and dropped. Good pass, though, from Bermudez with Henderson screaming down on him. Ty Hawley does enough to jar it free. As they go right back to it, and this time the pressure's from the middle and from the left. Drogon and Blair get the sack. It's 3rd and 19. Cardinals stick with that double A gap look, though. Back out of it, right into more pressure. And now the Cardinal call a timeout. Joseph Henry gets credit for that sack and a long field goal attempt here. He's got plenty of leg, a perfect kick. Field goal good for Arizona State. That man might have himself a future in the NFL with a leg like that. But the Cardinal did call a timeout, so it looks like Coach Barrington will come out here firing. Downfield into a soft spot. Getting the grab is Kramer. What a throw from Justin Sorensen. Just a perfect way to respond to that turnover. But can they get into field goal range here? Sorensen, he's going to bounce to the outside. He's got seconds to spare, getting out at the 34. The final timeout is called there. That sets up Sam Ritter, right hash, to try to erase the field goal then of Arizona State, and his field goal is true as well. So 2 field goals to close out the first half, and that leaves this one still very much in favor of our Stanford Cardinal, 24-10. After a rocky start, Cardinal bounced back in a big way. Arizona State forcing some big plays, though, throughout that first half of play. They just need a little bit more consistency from their offense. Turnovers have been a big part of this day, but the bounce back and that amazing run from Joe Wesovich has been phenomenal by the Stanford Cardinal. Looking to close this one out 7-0. Meanwhile, Arizona State trying to put this team on upset alert. But if that's going to be the case, Arizona State's defense will have to lead the charge, as it is Cardinal ball to start this second half. And it's Wesovich with another punishing run. A gain of 13. That one leaves him just a handful of yards away from reaching the century mark. They will look to go back his way. He lets those blocks develop, and there it is. Over 100 for Joe Wesovich on 6 carries. How about that for your power back, Stanford Cardinal? They're rolling. At about midfield, they look to go to the air here, though dumping it off, it is to Wesovich, who's shown great hands, and it took 3 defenders to bring him down, including Jason Priest, who is shaken up down on the field. Hopefully he will be okay. He's a integral part of this Sun Devil defense. Cardinal, they go with a screen here. It's out to Jewell, who's a shaky man in space, taking a late pop from behind. Well, he appears to be all right back on up and ready for his next play. 2 spread this time for the Stanford Cardinal. as Arizona State sends everyone to one side. And Sorensen double checks there. That's something we have not seen much from him in his young career. He normally lets those rip, but he second guessed it, and that maybe cost him a early chance. Rolling into pressure. Max Sharping with the sack. It's 3rd and 16. Cardinal back at the 40. Coverage is sitting off here, as once again dancing around, looking to buy some time. Sorensen scrambles, he gets the block from Thrash, and he will duck out at the 16. Just a tremendous job of orchestrating both pre-snap and post-snap as the Cardinal back inside the red zone. They stick with the same look, and they've got a guy in the corner, and it will get there in time. It's Jewell on the wheel route for the touchdown. Sorensen had to wait until he crossed that last defender who had to drop down, and it opens it up for the touchdown, 31-10. And what was already an uphill battle for Bermudez and this offense, now even a taller hill to climb. Heel, though, will pick up 12. But if we're to see this Sun Devil offense really open up, we're going to need to see a bit more from Bermudez. He's made some great throws out there, but he seems to just be playing a little bit more conservative. We haven't seen much scrambling from him at all. Going to need to open things up in this second half, as Keel will make it 3rd and 2. Cardinal respond by bringing down the line, expecting a run. Instead, they go with a pop-up pass. There goes the tight end. Not able to break away, but a big play made on 3rd down has them inside the red zone. Going hurry up, Bermudez. Got to end this drive with a touchdown. Going with a stretch to the outside. Good job, Rico Body. The slot corner of the Stanford Cardinal came ready on that one to stuff the run. It loses one as we move inside 5 minutes to play here in the 3rd quarter. Going back to the pass and dragged down from behind. You're not going to escape Joseph Henry. He's just racking up sacks these last few weeks. As a 3rd and 13 now, as they look to set up a screen, but the pressure is there. It's Henry. That'll force a field goal attempt then, Arizona State. They can really hit from distance. That one is no problem. Arizona State, they take a little nibble out of that lead, but they're still going to need a whole lot more in this one. As a kick is off, it is Jewell back to return. Down the middle, and watch out, a crease opens up. He hits it, he's got speed. Down the hash, 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Taj Jewell. He takes the kick to the house, and just once again a dagger to the Sun Devils. Just when they think they've caught some momentum, the Stanford Cardinal slam that door in their face. 38-13. Back over to the Sun Devil offense, and Keel's gonna get dropped. Give him some credit, though. He had to fight back just to get to the line of scrimmage, as there was immediate pressure down the middle. 2nd and 10. Cardinal bring the blitz. It's picked up well, and it's placed well. Manu Cave has some makeup speed, but Bingham, he beat him early on that play and carries the Sun Devils down to the 30. A quick response from them could be massive. As they flood the left side, it's Joseph Henry back for his 3rd sack of the game. Just when you get Nathan Henderson getting all the media with his Heisman candidacy, he's over here saying, hey, don't forget about Henry. Big plays still being made across the board. 2nd and 12. They go with a jet sweep, and it's Quinn showing a little shake and bake, but he is brought down prior to the line to gain a 3rd and 2. And Cardinal, they bring everyone, and it's Henry tracking him down from behind. Ben Lopez out here yet again, though. Here comes legend Nagbar. He misses the block. Firing around the end. Lopez, though, he goes 3 for 3. But the good news for the Sun Devils is that they got to stop on the kick, so their defense actually gets to see some action here. As it's motion across, that's going to be jet sweep. It's thrashed to the outside. Big fella showing off some speed there. Normally, he's the more physical receiver type for the Stanford Cardinal offense. Now we got counter action. It's going to be Taj Jewell picking up 8. That leaves the Cardinal only needing 2 more here on second down. They could really open up their playbook. A little bit of some tighter coverage on the inside as they actually bring the blitz that way. Trying to leak to the outside is Sorensen. He's got the first down and avoids contact. Was looking a little bit slow out there, so sending this one to the break. Everyone will be able to catch their breath. 38-16. This Stanford Cardinal team is well on top, but they need to close this game out. As the fourth quarter begins, it's really time for Arizona State to step up. They've got to make their plays now, as it looked like Justin Sorensen making a change here pre-snap. They bring the blitz, and it's going to be out for Madu, who pulled up too soon. A throw like that typically was worked out for the Stanford Cardinal team. They got 2 big plays on that last week, including a touchdown. Throwing out here, it's a halfback screen almost. Taj Jewell cuts back towards the middle and gets stood up. Good flow, though, from the Sun Devil defense. That forces a 3rd and 6. Hard count, no one jumps. And not able to get that one out cleanly. It was Floyd Sims with the pressure. 4th and 6, offense still out there, and this will be a free play. And they will look downfield. Sideline has the grab, but I believe he caught that out of bounds. Well, the Cardinal will now accept that penalty, and they do still keep the offense out there. It's a weak pistol eye, and now they will just straight up have the first down. Arizona State couldn't hold their water. A massive blow to this defense trying to pull out a stop here. Instead, it is 1st and 10 at the 35. Looks like Sorensen making a couple more changes out there, as it will be play action, rolling, and then throwing backside. Sterling can't hold on. Oh, what a setup on that play. Babineau, unfortunately. It also looked like Priest had to exit the field on that play. Trying to play through the injury we saw from earlier. The RPO, it does set up a 3rd and 6 here for the Stanford Cardinal. 2 spread either side with another hard count and just make this even easier. The Cardinal really haven't used hard count much of today, and now in crunch time, they're breaking it out right when the pressure is the biggest. Sorensen waiting, snapping that ball, and there's Wesovich with more grass. He's down to the 15. An easy conversion there for the Cardinal. 1st and 10. And they're going end around. It's to Bargava, who appeared pretty slow in the backfield. One of the speedier receivers, and he just never quite was able to turn that corner. He's just back to the line. Taj Jewell now, as he'll get a little burst and a short gain. That will leave the Stanford Cardinal then with a 3rd and 6. And it looks like they're checking the sidelines here, seeing if they want to change their play call. That will get everyone set, motion across, and it's going to be Sorensen on the keeper. That goes nowhere. Floyd Sims again with the hit, setting up a 4th and 6 chip shot, adding on 3 points and dropping yet another 40-point game as this Cardinal team. On their way to finding that field goal, they also took off a good chunk of time, leaving Arizona State really without hope in this one as Blair picks up the 7th sack of the game for the Stanford Cardinal. Though just about half of those all going to Joseph Henry. Dominant game from him in this one. 2nd and 16, and watch out, there's number 8. Though Jason Blair looks to be a little bit shaken up, hoping that's just some cramps. No, we're getting towards the second half of this season, or really into the second half of this season, so it shouldn't be too warm out there, but it's been a long day. But it is a day that the Cardinal can look to just run some clock and bring us to a close. And it's Jewell right down the middle for another Cardinal first down. And we'll see if he gets a bulk of these remaining carries, as it's mostly been Wesovich the last few weeks. Jewell here picks up another 5. They're bringing in the sentry guy on the day in Joe Wesovich. with some more wide open spaces. That carries us to the 2-minute break, and this Cardinal offensive front today has just been dominant. It's Wesovich again who cuts back on the counter. He picks up 2. As we are moving ever closer to the end of this game, inside a minute and a half to go, it's Babineau back in here at fullback to help lead the way. Truck stick and another touchdown will be your nail in the coffin. Joe Wesovich was not pulling up on that run. He hasn't had too many rushing touchdowns this year, so he's going to get them when he earns them. 48-16. Dominant showing here after the first quarter. While there was definitely some cause of concern early on in this game, Stanford Cardinal, they responded big in that second quarter, putting up 24 points, almost accounting for half of their points. Your player of the game, though, that is going to Joe Wesovich. 10 carries, 145 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He averaged 14.5 yards a run. That's easy math. Lovelace, a really good performance as well, continuing to dominate since he got his start. We saw some big plays from Taj Jewell in the special teams game, a little bit as a running back as well, as we go 7-0. And the good news just keeps rolling as we hear Devin Null has committed to the Stanford Cardinal. We land the big body 5-star DT from Charlotte, North Carolina. We also bring in John Trey Swan, the 5-star receiver from Chatsworth, California. And Kona Kikaha also joins the Stanford Cardinal, the safety from Calabasas, California, 4-star gem. And Joseph Henry, he takes home his first Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Week award. He did have a 4th sack as well in garbage time. Well, that'll be good enough to also bring him his first National Defensive Player of the Week award as well. With everything going great here for our Stanford Cardinal, we do have to sprinkle in a little bit of bad just to help try to keep our head level. And that is us missing out on another recruit, a 5-star edge man in Marco Sneed. He's going to the Ohio State Buckeyes. We can't win all these battles. But when it comes to the other guy that we had on a visit today in Tim Cookus, we have now jumped in front and are probably about a week or so away from getting his commit. And that only leaves us 3 guys, which we still have to try to bring in. Everyone else has already committed to either our Stanford Cardinal or one of our opponents. So the second half of this season will be pretty light when it comes to recruiting. I might still check out a couple positions and see if we could find some hidden gems that I really like. But moving forward, we're focusing in on these games, as next up, we have Little Brother. We don't have to travel very far to Fresno State. This will be an away game, and probably one that I will look to get some of our backups in a little bit earlier in these games, because we have played through 2 full games with our starters, despite these being a little bit more dominant wins. As we do move forward, we do have Fresno State, New Mexico, Utah, another rival in Cal, and then Boise State, who continues to climb. They're now up to number 9. But for some reason, despite the fact that we have not lost a game in about 35 games, we have dropped out of first place, not even just by 1 spot, but by 2. Ohio State jumps in front of us, as well as Purdue. That might solely just be based off of these points. I don't know if this is points scored versus points against, where these points are necessarily coming from. Votes, perhaps? I'm assuming, but we have fallen behind Purdue. So despite being 7-0 and not losing a game in a little over 2.5 seasons, you're no longer 1. Cincinnati and Michigan State, though, they could change that this next set. But today did show us that we have to come ready to play each and every play, because even some of the worser competition, they could still make big plays on our team. Let's keep that in mind as we go take on Little Brother next time. Leave some love for your Stanford Cardinal by hitting that like button down below. And while you're already going around and clicking things, make sure you are subscribed as well. You can do that by either hitting that bear icon in the bottom right corner or going down below this video and clicking that sub button, and also tapping that bell icon so you're notified of when these videos go live. It's a free way to help support this channel and all the work we do as we've got more work coming up next week. Cha-Cha Vaz. We've got the Jaguars as well. 3 series going. I hope you all enjoy. We'll see you over there. We'll see you back here as we are on the road next time, taking on the Bulldogs of Fresno State.